I find it very disgusting how the mainstream media and politicians can sow a narrative that once you realize what they're doing, it's like, holy crap, people actually fall for this? Yes, Trump was taken off the ballot in Maine by this lady. I can't think of her name right off the top of my head. I saw a segment on this earlier. This lady, just days before making this decision, was ranting on X in this very long post talking about the necessity of democracy and free and fair elections, and that people need to be able to vote for who they want to vote for, and then turns right around and undermines that democracy, and people cheer for it. It's like, what is going on? I had a guy in my comment section the other day leave a comment off of one of my statements about the Democrats undermining democracy by taking people off the ballot, not giving us the choice to vote for who we want to vote for. They're forcing us to vote for whoever they allow to be on the ballot. The argument was BS. Oh, well, Trump did this. No, Trump didn't do any of that stuff. Trump didn't undermine democracy. Everything Trump did in the 2020 election was all legitimate lawfare, essentially. All of his court cases, yeah. Half of them were dismissed upon standing. They didn't even look at the evidence. That's bullshit. But that's how the courts work. He lost those court cases. What can you do? He's not president, right? I mean, come on, let's be real about this, though. Joe Biden did win that election. Sure. Was there some fraud? Sure. But there wasn't enough to overturn it. The Democrats outplayed the Republicans. Suck it up. That's what happened. There's nothing we can do about it. Just because there was some fraud, but not enough fraud, doesn't mean the whole election was bunk. Yeah, sure, they changed the election rules. That was all legal. Sure, was it underhanded? Did it undermine democracy? Sure, but it was legal. That's the problem. But, let me get off of that, because I don't want to rant for too long on that. We've had several Congress people get swatted over the Christmas holidays. Bob Menendez was trying to delay his trial. Yeah, suck that one up. That got denied. That got shot down like a damn Russian airplane. The S&P 500 jumped a lot this year. The stock market's up. So is inflation, though. Inflation is still messing with us pretty hard because it left all our prices really high. Thanks a lot. But what's up, everybody? How the hell's your day going? I'm having a much better day today. As you can see, we doing all right over here. This here is Legitical Response. We mainly focus on political news stories popped out by the mainstream narrative machine, and we run them through the logic test, and we figure out if they make any sense at all. So if you like to keep up with what the government is doing, hit that subscribe button for me. If you don't mind, I sure would appreciate it. And if you could, smash that like button too, especially if you love America and you want to make it great, and you want to make our country the best country it can possibly be. Smash that like button. It will go a little ways to help do that. So, enough of my ranting and raving about. Let's get into some more Democratic hypocrisies, if you will. As we all know, well, maybe you don't know, but Russia launched a massive attack on Ukraine last night. I say massive attack. The narrative machine is calling it a massive attack. There was about 30 people get killed, about 100 people injured. That doesn't sound too massive to me. I mean, we have that many people dying, hourly probably in Palestine. But hey, they kind of brought that on themselves. What can you say? I don't condone it. As a matter of fact, I condemn any killing of civilians because you don't know if these people support Hamas or not. There's no way to know that. So they shouldn't be killed. Israel really should take the time to try a little bit harder to be a little bit more precise with their dropping of bombs, if you will. But let's get into this story right quick. Biden on Russia's aerial attacks on Ukraine. Putin must be stopped. Here we go. President Biden on Friday issued a scathing statement against Russian President Vladimir Putin after Russia's latest attacks on Ukraine, the largest aerial assault since the war began. It's a stark reminder to the world that after nearly 2 years of this devastating war, Putin's objective remains unchanged. He seeks to obliterate Ukraine and subjugate its people. He must be stopped, Biden said. Now, on its face, not knowing much about this Ukraine war, you might think, yeah, duh. But as far as Putin's objective goes, what have we actually seen? He's bombed a lot in the south. He's taken a strip of land, giving him a land bridge to Crimea. Now, his forces haven't advanced any further than that, right? When the war first started, they came in on 3 fronts. They wanted to split up the Ukrainian defense so they could get a foothold in the southeast, where that land bridge is. Then they retreated from everywhere else, reconvened in that area that they had taken over. Now, the lines have gone a little bit back and forth. Ukraine has taken some land back. Russia has recaptured some of that land. It has gone back and forth. However, taking that Putin wants to obliterate Ukraine, well, how come the far west of Ukraine hasn't been bombed at all? I wonder why that is. Why, if you want to obliterate an entire country, why would you leave alone half of the country? Why would you not bomb that whatsoever if you wanted to invade and take over and obliterate a country? Why would you do that? Why would you leave it alone? That doesn't make any sense to me. So what Biden is trying to tell you is that he wants to give more money to the Ukrainians to prop up the military-industrial complex and funnel more money to Zelensky. The remarks come after a heavy overnight assault by Russia, and as Congress remains deadlocked over whether to provide further support for Ukraine. Biden has requested aid, but it is now part of a negotiation centered on the border, and its fate is very much in doubt. Yes, because people are starting to wake up, and they're starting to see Ukraine is not worth defending. Is Putin an evil man for invading Ukraine? Yeah, sure. Shouldn't have done it, right? But why do we care about Ukraine so much when we could care less about some of this stuff that's going on in Yemen, some of this stuff that's going on in Africa, some of the stuff that's going on right now in South America with Venezuela about to be invading another country in South America? Why do people not care about that? Why do we care so much about Ukraine? Oh, we're defending their freedom. We're defending their democracy. See how they try to sow this little narrative? Ukraine is not a democracy. Look at the facts. Ukraine is not a democracy. They're labeled a democracy the same way that Russia is labeled a democracy. The rocket and drone attacks across Ukraine early Friday killed at least 24 people. That's been changed. This story was from this morning. That's been changed to 30 people. Killed at least 24 people, according to the Associated Press. Russia launched its attack days after Ukraine launched a strike in Crimea, which Russia occupies. Oh, well, there you go. That's why they did it. Biden noted that the Russians used drones and missiles, including those with hypersonic capability, for the bombardment, and deadly strikes hit a maternity hospital, shopping mall, and residential areas. Let me ask you something, Biden. What else are they going to use? I'd really like to know the answer to that question. What else are they going to use when trying to destroy something? Of course they're going to use missiles. What the hell was the point of that? The president called on Congress to provide more aid for Ukraine, noting Ukraine used air defense systems from the U.S. and other allies to fend off the attack. Well, they didn't do such a great job. 30 people got killed and 100 people got injured. The American people can be proud of the lives we have helped to save and the support we have given Ukraine as it defends its people, its freedom, and its independence. Yeah, you know what we have also done? We have helped Ukraine helped Ukraine and Russia to throw 500,000 soldiers and civilians into the meat grinder. Yeah, that's where the death toll is now. It's at over 500,000 people have died in this war. What lives have you saved? What lives have we helped save? We could have saved a lot more lives if they wouldn't have sabotaged peace talks that happened over a year ago, a year and a half ago. A few months into this war, there was a peace deal that they were trying to work out. The United States came in and screwed that up by providing more bullets and artillery and money to fund Ukraine's war with Russia. So instead of trying to provide peace, they've only provided more war. That's wrong in my opinion. But unless Congress takes urgent action in the new year, we will not be able to continue sending the weapons and vital air defense systems Ukraine needs to protect its people. Congress must step up and act without any further delay, Biden said. Yeah, and notice he didn't say anywhere about negotiating some sort of peace. He never does. Notice that. Wake up and pay attention. These people do not want peace. They just want to send more stuff over there to prop up the military-industrial complex and to keep throwing people into the damn meat grinder. That's all they want to do. Zelensky visited Washington earlier this month to lobby for more help for his war-torn country. You know what else would help your war-torn country? Peace. How about take the loss, okay? You're not going to get Putin to just leave that part of Ukraine. You're not going to get Putin to just evacuate Crimea. That's not going to happen. Is it right? No, of course it's not right. But also, is it right to cut off water supply to Crimea, to cut off supplies, to bombard Crimea? That's an argument we can have, because technically that's supposed to be part of Ukraine too. However, Russia had a military base in Crimea. They have been having for many, many, many decades. Has been there. All they did was step out of their military base and say, yeah, this is ours now. And what happened? Nothing. There was no sending of billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight Russia in Crimea. No, they just gave it up. Why? Wonder why that is. But now they want us to send hundreds of billions of dollars over there and just kill, 500,000 soldiers and civilians too. I just don't understand these people, why they don't attempt to have some kind of peace talks, to have some kind of negotiation, to work something out to make the fighting stop. If you have to take a loss, then you have to take a loss. Have the UN go in and do a vote. See if they do a referendum. See if these people want to stay with Ukraine or they want to stay with Russia. Apparently, Russia did this, and whether you trust that or not, that's up to you. I don't particularly trust it, but however, I think it was like 80% of the people voted to stay with Russia. what can you do about that, right? You have a third party, the UN, go in, hey, do y'all want to be part of Russia or do y'all want to be part of Ukraine? How about get everybody that doesn't want to be part of Russia to move into a different part of Ukraine? And everybody that wants to be part of Russia, I don't know why you would, get them to move to that part. I mean, I can come up with several different strategies to go about negotiating peace here. How come the professionals, the people that are supposed to be able to do this, how come they can't do it? Leave a comment down below. And that's all I got for this one, y'all. I want to thank everybody for watching. And y'all try to be positive. Peace.